Each and every frame of video footage that you just saw, including all of the pictures you see around me right now on your screen, are from India's national capital. Not from some remote part of the country. This is Delhi, India's biggest city, India's biggest metropolis. The national capital and large parts of it are completely underwater, completely destroyed. Huge numbers of property, people's homes destroyed, damaged, people dislocated, no electricity, and flooding and waterlogging causing a huge amount of misery in different parts of this big city. This is our national capital. We need to keep reminding ourselves, and I'm going to take you across in just a minute from now to the most fearless band of reporters, obviously my colleagues here at India Today, who've dropped all of their other plans, and they are there at the epicenter of this crisis. They're in waist-deep water, taking all precautions, I assure you, to bring you an up-close, terrifying view of what it looks like for apocalypse to hit Delhi. And no part of Delhi has been spared this misery. I'm going to show you up close right here on 5 Live. I'm Shiv. These are the headlines. Large parts of Delhi go underwater. Delhi's VVIP areas flooded. Schools and colleges in Delhi shut till Monday. Yamuna Bank metro station also cut off. As Delhi reels under the flood mayhem, politics peaks. Delhi Chief Minister Kejriwal urges centre to intervene. BJP hits out, says national capital has turned into a gutter under the Aam Aadmi Party. Grand welcome for Prime Minister Modi in Paris. Big defence deals on the cards in a first. French President Macron to host a banquet for the Prime Minister at the iconic Louvre Museum. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin meets lyricist Vairamuthu on his birthday and accused of sexual harassment by several women in the Indian film industry. Lyricist and singer Chinmay hits out at accused. Stalin, Tesla in talks with India to set up a car factory with capacity of 5 lakh vehicles. Prices of cars to begin from 20 lakh rupees. The images of misery from India's national capital just won't stop flowing in. The very latest coming in from the Delhi government hospital, the main government hospital in Delhi that has also been completely submerged. The Delhi government hospital in civil lines is inundated, waist-deep water at this big medical facility. Patients lodged in the hospital are being forced to be evacuated from that site because they simply cannot be treated there. As you can see, patients are being moved out from the hospital because water has ingressed inside the hospital and it is no longer safe for patients to be treated there. Sandbags have been kept on the perimeter of the hospital to avert more damage over and above what has already been caused. This is one of Delhi's main government hospitals and it has also been completely flooded.
अरे सर जी चोट लगी थी।
तो हॉस्पिटल में कितने दिन से एडमिट थे आप?
आज 17 दिन हो गया।
17 दिन हो गए। तो आज अभी पानी आ रहा है हॉस्पिटल में तो शिफ्ट किया जा रहा है आपको?
हाँ शिफ्ट किया जा रहा है सर।
कहाँ लेकर जा रहे हैं कुछ बताया आप लोगों को?
घर ले जा रहे हैं।
घर बोल रहे हैं तुम्हारा तो हो गया घर चले जाओ।
अच्छा।
जैसे 2-3 दिन में पट्टी कराने चले जाना हॉस्पिटल बताए हैं वही वाला।
मेरा साला एडमिट था यहाँ पर। अभी हमारे को तुरंत कॉल आई कि सभी पेशेंटों को घर ट्रांसफर किया जा रहा है और यहाँ आप देख सकते हैं चारों तरफ हॉस्पिटल के पानी भर चुका है। हाँ सभी पेशेंट यहाँ से निकाले जा रहे हैं और आप देख सकते हैं आपके सामने ये जो कुछ है।
All of our reporters from the flooded epicenter of Delhi are going to be with us in just a moment. Going across first to India Today's Kumar Kunal, live from civil lines, which is the worst affected part of the national capital. It is also where the Delhi Chief Minister's residence is. None of these VVIP zones have been spared. In fact, as you can see, Kunal is sitting on a boat That is the kind of situation that this area has been subjected to. Kunal, what is the very latest that you're bringing to us? Government hospital and civil lines also inundated.
Exactly, and we are at one of the most posh areas of Delhi, which is civil lines, and where we are boating right now is hardly 1 kilometer or so from the CM's residence, and we have never imagined that we will boat on the ring road. Actually, we are right now on the ring road, which connects Delhi to other areas, and just a few kilometers away is ISBT. And normally we walk on this road through a car or through a bus, but right now we are going on a boat, and we can show you some pictures that how the cars are completely submerged into water, and even the big houses, big villas, they are at least 5 to 6 feet underwater right now. So this is the scenario at one of the most posh areas of Delhi, and you can imagine that several VIPs like Lieutenant Governor, Chief Minister, they reside in this area, and still it is facing such a waterlogged houses in these areas. And we are right now on the NDRF boat. They are NDRF personnel who are rescuing different persons from these localities, which is completely submerged inside the flooded water. So this is the situation, Shiv. I can show you several teams through my camera that how the rescue operation is right now going inside the colonies right here. So this is the situation at the Ring Road Civil Lines area, and what we are getting, we are here for several hours. Right now even the water level is increasing in this area, although Yamuna water level is static, but in these colonies the water level is increasing for last 2-3 hours at least.
It's incredible. Continue to show us those pictures, Kunal, because, where Kunal is currently sitting in that boat with the NDRF personnel is actually a place which is populated by one of Delhi's, some of Delhi's elite. The Delhi Chief Minister lives there. Many elite families live in civil lines. It's a highly restricted, part of Delhi, and it is completely underwater. And that just goes to show you that no place is safe from what really is happening. Waist deep in the water at Vijay Ghat is also my brave colleague Mosmi Singh as well, who's been there since early this morning. She's been there all of yesterday as well. Mosmi, I don't know how you're doing this. You're waist deep in that water. You've been there all day. I know you're taking all the precautions, but even though the levels in the Yamuna are not rising further, which is a little bit of a breather, the crisis is ever present. You're standing right in it.
Right, Shiv, and the need of the hour, and it's a call of duty that we are all on the ground in water to make sure that the unheard are heard by the administration and the government. And that's one reason I'm here at Vijay Ghat. It's been several hours in the water. My phone fell into the water, and then I had to dive into the water to pick it up. But that notwithstanding, that's a very small thing in the face of the entire crisis that is unfolding in the national capital. And a picture of that crisis is right behind me. You can see these are laborers. I went up till there to speak to them. We've got their voices also. They are laborers at the Janki Devi Mandir on night duty in the night. And the water level has risen drastically. They can't dare to tread on this road where we are standing. They're looking for help. No food, no water, and the entire huts are submerged in water, so they can't even take the ration out of there. आप लोग कुछ खाए पिए हैं? क्या चाहते हैं? और क्या चाहते हैं? So we'll be bringing that report to you. You know, Vijay and all the others, they are laborers from Uttar Pradesh and other parts of the country. This is the ring road, Shiv. We've gone towards Vijay Ghat, and if you see that the flow of water, Kripal Singh, my Vijay, he's holding that live view and getting you with all that electronic equipment, getting you these pictures. 360 degrees, there's water everywhere. The flow is quite heavy. We saw animals being rescued, dogs being rescued by MCD workers, ordinary men doing an extraordinary job in this hour of crisis, saving lives. And you know, that's truly, Delhi, truly, the Delhiites are living up, these Delhiites, to the slogan of Dilwalon ki Delhi.
Mosmi, the houses on the road that you're in right now, people are still inside those homes. Are they marooned? Have they been evacuated? You know, how are they carrying on with their lives? Obviously, there's no electricity there.
Absolutely, Shiv, and you know, we'll try and tell you that what really happens. You know, when the administration said vacate the low-lying areas, they have their houses, their belongings, their life's earnings in that house, and these people said that we were scared that there would be miscreants, bad elements who will unlock our houses. They know our hearts. We don't have walls and, you know, iron locks. They'll steal everything and go away and we'll be distraught. So they don't want to leave their houses. And this is a blue tower that they're parked on since morning. That tower has become their house and their lifeline. So that's the story, you know, of especially the poorest of the poor are the worst hit. The Latians Delhi, or you can say the civil lines, you know, still they would have the 5 stars to go to. I'm not saying that their worries are any lesser, but the poorest of poor, for them it is about livelihood, it's about existence.
It really is about existence, and you know, what an incredible sight to see. You know, Kunal is off the boat, but he's still in the civil lines area. Kunal, we saw the Delhi Chief Minister earlier today doing a survey of the worst affected areas. You know, what more is being done? Because not only are the water levels still extremely high, but you know, there is no electricity. There is a water crisis also in that area. And we all know that with the floodwaters still there, not rising but still there is also the possibility of waterborne diseases. Mosmi, stay with me. I'm coming back to you in a minute. Kunal.
Exactly. There are several problems which are happening right now, and we are with the residents of the civil lines who are facing problems since morning. What kind of problems you are facing since morning?
पानी अब के फर्स्ट टाइम आया है, ऐसा पहले कभी नहीं आया, तो थोड़ा सा अजीब सा लग रहा है, मगर सही हो जाएगा।
के बाद पानी आया है और बहुत दिल्ली का बेहाल हो रहा है, और आप लोग देख रहे हैं महंगाई से भी लोग त्रस्त हो रहे हैं, और ये दिल्ली सरकार की बहुत बड़ी कमी है।
So even Chief Minister has to hear about all these problems. I can show you that NDRF boats which have taken us up to this place. This place is actually connected through the ring road, but now completely cut off, as at least 5 to 6 feet water is there on the roads and people can't move out of their residences. So what actually you were asking, that there are several other problems as well, as the water treatment plants are now closed. 3 water treatment plants which are getting water from Yamuna, those treatment plants like Wajirabad and Chandravan water treatment plants are closed, and hence a big water crisis can be expected. Even other kind of diseases like waterborne disease, dengue and chikungunya, that those are also can create havoc after the flood water will recede. I will try to talk to a few
Kunal, I'll come back to you in just a moment. Kunal, I'll come back to you in just a moment. We have to go to Mosmi because we might lose that connection with her. I'll come back to you. Mosmi, the water levels are not rising for the moment, but things are still very precarious, aren't they? Because if there is more rain, any further movement on the Yamuna, things can actually get a whole lot worse where you are and elsewhere.
Shiv, you will have to think about the fact that, you know, the water levels are already above the danger level mark, and the water is flowing into the city. Places like these are completely seeing a rise in the level, because earlier the water was not even till the knee over here, and now you can see that how badly this entire stretch is immersed. I'm trying to speak to these two brave hearts. Abhishek, idhar aa jaiye. Idhar aa jaiye bhaiya. These two brave hearts, you know, this is a stray dog settlement of the MCD. I saw 20 youngsters, you know, pushing a truck because the truck wouldn't move in the water, trying to rescue the animals here. And Abhishek is right here, and we'll try and speak to him. And you can see that this Janki Devi temple is right here. So the water levels have come, haven't risen, but you know, the lot of water has come into the city, and that's actually completely choked the entire stretches of the ring road from Badarpur to, in fact, Jaitpur. There are many settlements there which are in the water. Abhishek, ये बताइए कितने जानवर आप लोग रेस्क्यू करा लिए? हम लोग ने देखा था थोड़ी देर पहले, गाड़ी को धक्का लगा रहे थे आप लोग।
जी, बाहर तो 17-18 निकाल दिए हैं।
हाँ।
अभी कम अंदर 30-40 डॉग
30-40 डॉग्स फंसे हुए हैं।
30-40 डॉग फंसे हुए हैं।
और कैसे निकाल रहे हैं आप लोग?
जी, कोशिश कर रहे हैं, निकाल ही रहे हैं धीरे धीरे, कैसे भी करके गाड़ी बुलाइए।
कितने धक्के लगे, कितनी बारी चक्कर लगा चुके हैं आप लोग?
ये अभी तो एक ही बार लगाया है।
कितना घंटा लगा उसमें?
कम से कम इसमें 1.5-2 घंटे लग गए।
2 घंटे लग गए। और कितने लोग हैं आप लोग, सब लोग?
हम 6 लोग हैं।
6 ही लोग?
6 लोग हैं।
So you can see that's the stray dog MCD center, and these are small examples, Shiv, that I was trying to highlight about how life is completely stranded, and ordinary people making extraordinary effort, in fact, to save lives. But that notwithstanding, trouble for Delhiites will continue. As I say, as Kunal said, waterborne diseases, electricity problem, water supply problem, Chief Minister flagging water shortage. So Delhi is looking a bit glum, but the only good news is that the weather is looking fine. We can see streaks of blue sky, and you know, this too shall pass. That's what I will tell the Delhiites.
I'm sure, and you know, Mosmi, you've covered you know, the difficult side of Delhi for many years. So, you know, personally speaking also, you know, I want to know what the reporter in you feels seeing this kind of thing happen in India's national capital year after year. You know, it's common to see the anger among citizens. You know, you just saw that lady in civil lines, you know, raising her voice when she spoke to Kunal and talking about how their taxes have all been wasted if this is what they need to expect every year. But you as a reporter as well, Mosmi, have stood exactly like this in floodwaters in Delhi many times over many years. How does that make you feel as a citizen and a reporter personally?
Shiv, you've really touched a raw nerve, because yes, that's true, because when we started our career, we started reporting on everything that was happening in Delhi, and floods was such a common affair.
Yeah.
Thousands of money, crores of money being spent, and we've seen lives being broken, houses being uprooted, and it feels very traumatic to, you know, cover the trauma of these people. You can look at this elderly gentleman. What is he taking away from home? Just one blanket to sleep and a pair of slippers. That's it. Perhaps he's trying to ferry something from somewhere. And you know, for a reporter, it's covering these stories is not only about the headlines or, you know, getting the big exclusives. It is no exclusive. We would rather not have such exclusives where people are so traumatized, and I just pray and keep my fingers crossed that we don't have to cover floods in the national capital of India anymore, you know, because this should be a wake-up call for the government, for the administration, because they've made tall claims. They've said that, you know, the banks of the Yamuna, elaborate arrangements, flood arrangements have been made.
Yes.
A lot of money being pumped into, and when it comes to the downpour of or the fury of nature, again all these tall claims, government after government, I've covered several governments, stand exposed, which is really, really tragic. And that's why, Shiv, today we don't know whether we'll be able to cope up with the kind of dirty water that the Yamuna has. But we are just a drop in the entire, the struggle that the Delhiites are facing. And that's one reason that India Today wants to bring out that the facts and the ground reports to our viewers.
And let me tell all of our viewers that Mosmi and her team are not just journalists today. Their primary duty is as journalists to cover and to bring you what the reality of the situation is. But remember that each of our reporters are also citizens. They've got families, and they are, without any compromise, out there in waist-deep water, humbly reporting this terrible tragedy in the Indian national capital. It's still sinking in for most people, and I apologize for using that phrase, that these images that you're looking at here on India Today are all in India's national capital. All of these, whether it is near Red Fort, near India Gate, Vijay Ghat, civil lines, wherever you look, the city has basically sunk. That's the reality of what's going on. Mosmi, I'll connect with you in just a bit from now. Thank you very much for that report. Let's get you a quick wrap of the very latest on the flood situation in the national capital. All of Delhi is sunk, most of Delhi is sunk rather, because of this heavy rain. Thankfully, it's a clear day today, but the Yamuna river levels have risen. The old Yamuna bridge, also known as Lohe Ka Pul, has been submerged due to the rise in the water levels of the river after incessant rainfall and the release of water from the Hathani Kund barrage, which is just a little upstream in Haryana. Meanwhile, Shadara's Yamuna Vihar has been flooded as the Yamuna continues to flow above the danger mark, but it has stopped rising for the last few hours. People using boats everywhere, walking through waist-deep water in these locations. These are images from today. One of the affected parts of central Delhi is Delhi's ITO. Can you imagine? This is Delhi's ITO for those familiar with the city. Yamuna flowing just a few meters below the ITO bridge. If the water level increases further, and thankfully it hasn't for the last couple of hours, the difficulty will increase exponentially for commuters. The Yamuna Bazaar area has been inundated because of the increased water levels. Shops have been submerged. Life has come to a standstill. People were seen helping each other while walking through waist-deep water. These images again from today. Delhi's Kashmiri Gate continues to remain one of the most affected parts of the capital. The main outer ring road completely submerged. Water from the Yamuna coming straight in and filling this low-lying area. This is Delhi's worst flood situation since the last 50 years. The mighty Yamuna has not only breached the danger mark, but has also crossed the highest ever mark of 208.48 meters. This is 3 meters and 15 centimeters above the danger mark. Just think about that. It's important to note that the release of water from the Hathani Kund barrage has heightened the risk of floods in other parts of the national capital beyond just these 10 areas highlighted on your screen. The Delhi Traffic Police has urged commuters to avoid the ring road stretch between the Monastery and Interstate Bus Terminus, or ISBT, also called Bus Adda in Delhi. Kashmiri Gate saying the traffic has been affected due to the overflowing Yamuna River. With several areas inundated, the Delhi Police has issued a new advisory restricting the entry of heavy vehicles into Delhi. The Chief Minister of Delhi, Arvind Kejriwal, also visited the Wazirabad water treatment plant and added that the plant has been shut down due to flooding in that area. That's the reason for a water crisis in parts of Delhi. Earlier, the Delhi government had also ordered the closure of all educational institutions in flood-affected areas.
I've been trying to get to the Majnu Ka Tela area, Kashmiri Gate metro station area, the old Delhi, the route Shama Prasad Mukherjee Marg is completely chock full of traffic because of the waterlogging. At Kashmiri Gate Bus Adda, ISBT, the road is under at least 1.5 to 2 feet of water, which is why the police has put in barricading everywhere. They're not even allowing media cars to go up ahead. Where the Chandgira Makhada and the DRDO area, where my colleague Sushant was just giving his report from, that area has also been cordoned off now. It is only possible to reach there if you're in a tractor or a high SUV. if you're walking or you have a small car, you cannot reach there because the water will get into your car. So we're waiting here at the Hanuman Mandir near Nigambodh Ghat. By the way, right behind me, around 100 meter that side is the Nigambodh Ghat, which is where the most of the people of Delhi go to say farewell and cremate their dead. And it is impossible right now to reach Nigambodh Ghat because, as you can see, it is over waist deep water. A couple of rickshaws are moving. The flyover that comes from Rajghat towards Kashmiri Gate, the people stopped there, but even at Rajghat, the barricading has been put up.
Reporting from the ring road, one could have not imagined that one would be waist deep in water. The ring road is absolutely flooded and the entire stretch at the Red Fort blocked because the entire road has turned into a mini river. Behind me you can see the Red Fort walls, the ramparts of the Red Fort, and the Yamuna is flowing in this flow across the entire stretch from ISBT to towards Rajghat, and the water levels are rising on this road. We are standing on the ring road. On the right and on the left you can see there's only water, water and water everywhere. Here you can see that as I walk towards the flow, the walk is much easier. The water also moving above my waist there. So importantly, people, please, Delhiites, watch the news, watch all the alerts from the administration, and please take the warnings very seriously.
Yesterday, Saurabh Bhardwaj, the Water and UD Minister of Delhi government, had told me that till the time the watermark in Yamuna does not touches 208, there should not be a reason to be concerned for the residential areas and the main terrain of the national capital. But here you have, on Thursday, when Yamuna crossed 208 mark, it is at 20.5. This is the situation in the national capital. This is ITO to Rajghat Road, one of the most important roads of the national capital, and you can see how it is inundated. The water which had possibly come on both sides. On the left hand side is the Rajghat area. I'll request Sajid to pan the camera. That particular road is completely inundated, which means the traffic is blocked. Trucks are standing in nowhere in the middle of the road, and the bikes which are coming from the other side are actually crossing over through the gaps on the road, which means that they are also risking their lives because traffic movement is coming from the other side as well. And whichever car, whatever bike wala, riders, whichever way they are wanting to move, they are actually moving in whichever direction they want. You can see two-way traffic moving in the national capital from ITO to Rajghat area, and that's the scenario. That's the flyover which is coming, and it is actually getting blocked because you have two-way traffic moving on a road which is supposed to move in a single direction from ITO towards Rajghat.
If you look at these waterlogged roads behind me, it will be very hard for you to believe that it hasn't rained even a single drop in the past 3 days in the national capital. Still, the situation is flood-like, and the reason we all know is the overflowing Yamuna river, whose water level has reached to a record high of over 208.5 meters, which is in fact the highest water level ever recorded by the river. As far as the national capital is concerned, this is the situation of Delhi, and in fact right now we are at the ITO, which is even the central part of the central Delhi, one of the most posh area of the national capital. This is the area where there are several important government buildings located, several other important buildings located. This is the Vikas Minar, this is the Indian Medical Association's office, and the road that we are talking about, it's extremely important because this is one of the most important roads that connects the national capital and Noida. As far as the Yamuna river is concerned, it is still far from here. In fact, it is about, there is a distance of about 100 meters, from 100 to 200 meters in fact, from where we are standing to even the bridge of Yamuna river. But still, the water level is here, and this is not just here. As far as the national capital is concerned, there are several other areas where this kind of a situation is emerging. There are traffic snarls all over the national capital. People are facing difficulties because of these kind of waterlogging situations. And as far as the national capital is concerned, in many areas, on many roads, as far as the ring road is concerned, the capital has been cut into several pieces because at several areas, while there at ITO at least the traffic is moving, at several areas the water is so high that a car can easily drown in the water, so those areas are not accessible. In fact, the ISBT area is cut off by the other main part of the national capital. A similar kind of situation is emerging as far as the water levels are concerned. The reason what we have seen has been the large amount of water that was in fact released by the state of Haryana as far as the Yamuna river is concerned at the Hatnikund barrage because of the high intensity rainfall that's taking place in hilly areas of Uttarakhand. And as the water level continue to rise, the Hatnikund barrage has to increasingly send more and more water into the Yamuna river, that is in fact flooding the national capital. And this is not just the problem of waterlogging, but in future the government has said that because of the waterlogging situation there are several water treatment plants that have stopped working, and this may lead to a water crisis in the national capital as far as the drinking water and usable water in the national capital is concerned. So while water is everywhere, it might be true that there will not be water enough for people to drink in the next few days, at least for several parts of the national capital. With video journalist Ankit Singh, I'm Akshay Dongre for India Today.
Okay, the situation has stabilized as far as the Yamuna water levels are concerned. They're still way above the danger mark, but they're not rising any further. They haven't been rising further for the last 2.5 hours, which is just a slight bit of tentative good news amidst the devastation in the national capital. And the breaking news is that the Yamuna river's levels have never ever been this high, staggering 208.65 meters. This is the highest the levels have ever reached in the Yamuna river, breaking an all-time record after 45 long years. A small bit of good news amidst this alarming piece of information I'm bringing to you is that the levels have not risen since earlier this afternoon. So 208.65 meters is where it has stopped at. It hasn't risen even a little bit, since the last three and a half hours or so, which is a reason for some cautious optimism that things will only get better from here. Blue skies over Delhi today, no rain forecast at least for the next day, but the next 48 hours are absolutely crucial, because if there is more rain, if more Yamuna water is released from the Hatnikund barrage, then it's going to spell even more trouble for the national capital. I want to go across to all of our reporters. Mosmi continues to be with me from Vijayghat. Amit Bharadwaj is at the Lal Killa. Akshita is also with me from Lal Killa, the Red Fort in the national capital. The surrounding areas of which, Akshita, still completely inundated. What's the current situation where you are?
Shiv, I hope you can hear me.
Yes.
The signal, unfortunately, is really poor here. To add to every woe the Delhiites right now have, there's no signal in any of these places. We've been seeing, and I've been sitting in the studio like you're seeing what's been happening around. I've come here finally, and it's shocking. I'm just going to flip my camera around to show you what's the situation here. And if I show you at this point where I'm standing, there is this much water shift right above, right up to my waist. You can see water right up till the very end there, and this is the beautiful Red Fort. All around, there's water right now. From what I've been hearing from all the people standing around me, Shiv, it's only getting worse. Honestly, I know that the water levels aren't going up, it's stable. But what's happening, I think, is that the water levels around me are only increasing because the water flow is also there. There's a lot of current. And what's also very scary to see is that there are logs that are going around in this water shift. There are logs, there are flowers, which everyone is saying is coming from the Nigampot Ghat and being pushed into these particular areas. So if people are still in this water, and many of them are having to wade through the water to get out of this place. You can only imagine what a health hazard it is right now. But the situation at this point is pretty bad still in the capital. The water levels as far as the Yamuna is concerned, it may be stable. But here on the ground, the water levels at this point are only increasing in some parts of Delhi. And that's because of the flow of the Yamuna really going through these particular parts. You can still see some locals in these areas who are trying to wade through these pockets. And as someone who came all the way from Noida into Delhi shift, I can tell
Okay, we've lost that line with Akshita as feared because it's a very, very tenuous connection. We'll go back to her in just a moment. Akshita, stay with me. I'll come back to you. I want to go across to Kumar Kunal. Amit, stay with me. I'm coming to you in a moment. Kumar Kunal is at the civil lines area, also one of the worst affected. Kunal, the rescue relief operations obviously continuing non-stop where you are. You're still on that disaster relief boat. Kunal, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, we'll get back.
Yeah,
to you.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, Kunal, go ahead. Kunal, go ahead if you can hear me.
We are middle of a rescue operation. We are in actually middle of a rescue operation, which is being done by NDRF, and you can see that we are at civil lines area, and there are several boats which are working non-stop here, and several civil defense volunteers, NDRF volunteers, they are working non-stop without any break whatsoever. We are also working, but salute to these guys who are working non-stop and rescuing several people. In nearby areas, Chandgiram, Akhada and even Monastery, there are several families which are still stuck, and the water levels are increasing. So it is getting quite alarming, as even after the sun will go down, then it will be difficult to rescue those persons who are being stuck in these areas. So they are actually running out of time, and they are doing rescue operations, and continuously several boats, even Delhi government boat, is at work right here, which is considered as one of the most posh localities of capital. You can see right behind me that there are several villas, even the cars are now almost they are submerged into the water. Several such pictures we can show. But right here where we are standing, it is Ring Road, which is one of the busiest stretch in Delhi as far as road is concerned. So no traffic and knee-deep water we are right now standing, and the people who are stuck in several nearby localities, what we are learning that even just give me a sec, I will ride this boat because it is going to those areas which is where people are stuck. So
yes.
I am riding this boat just right now, me and my camera person Raja. So we are going through this boat, and what actually we are getting that we can witness a few rescue
Kunal, what are
operations
these boats being used for? Are they being used to carry equipment to the people there, food and equipment to the people, or are people being transported via these boats to safety? Kunal, can you hear me?
Yeah, Shiv, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm saying, what are these boats, exactly being used for? Are they taking food to the people who are stuck, or are they taking the people away from their, stranded areas?
See, people those who are stuck, they have been taken to such an area which is relatively drier or at a higher place, so that they can be safe, because there are several nearby areas which is deep into the water now. And earlier what actually happened, that several of these residents were not very keen to move out of their houses. So it was difficult to make them realize that the water level is going high, because earlier what used to happen, that when flood was coming to Delhi, the water levels were not this high, so they were not taking these alarms much seriously. But now when the rise in water levels have happened suddenly, then they are at danger, and that's why the work of these volunteers, these civil
brave work being done by the
NDRF
NDRF personnel that Kunal is riding on that boat with towards the rescue operation. Amit also in waist-deep water right outside India's, Delhi's, iconic Lal Killa. He's been there right through the day. Thankfully it's a clear sky today, Amit. No more rain today. but the danger levels of the Yamuna River are still very scary. How bad has it been right through the day, and what's it looking like?
Shiv, you know, it's not the rains of Delhi which is troubling the Delhiwalas right now. Rather, the calamity and the devastation brought by nature in Himachal Pradesh, which has brought trouble all through from Himachal to Haryana to Delhi. These are the walls. Right behind me is the Kashmiri Gate's iconic wall and the Old City wall. And Shiv, you know, there's an emotional or symbolic, always a visual of the Delhi, that is the Old City walls. And that Old City wall has been breached by Yamuna today. And throughout the day, since I was reporting, let me tell you, on the left-hand side, if Sajid will be able to pan the camera. So this stream that you are seeing going in full force, the water was less at the beginning of this divider. The divider is not visible anymore, and all you can see is Yamuna flowing in full force. There's another stream which has over the day, in the past couple of hours, a second stream has been created by Yamuna in order to reach inside the city. So the old city's walls have been breached by Yamuna. Now it is moving aggressively and challenging the modern infrastructure of the modern city of the national capital of Delhi. I can tell you one thing, Shiv, what happens in every now and then is that, you know, while I'm standing here, suddenly the current will increase and the water level would increase as well, and you cannot step forward without losing your balance. And the situation is actually getting worse with every passing minute. Right there you can see there's a cart which is coming from the other side of the old city. There's Yamuna Bazaar area where the economically lower strata people live. That area was humongously affected yesterday, and today you know, people who had perception that the flood is not going to disturb them, create any problems for them, that perception has been devastated as well. Now it's the people all across Delhi who are facing the problem or the brunt of Yamuna flood right now. One more important, rather disturbing fact that I'm witnessing here is that, Shiv, Chitas possibly kept near the Nigambodh Ghat have started to float all through and entering the main city of Delhi as well. There are logs which have come here, and now those chitas which are meant possibly to give for the final rituals or which have been already used, we don't know, but they are actually floating on this water and coming to this side of the city.
That's a really terrible to think about that, but you know, we will continue to report without fear or favor. Amit, Mausami, Kunal, Akshita, all of our reporters out there, Sushant, Himanshu, are doing the most incredibly brave work, because what they're doing is not just reporting this, but they're also sending out a message to the people of Delhi that India today stands with the citizens of the national capital. We won't just be you know, putting out information, but we will be a bridge for their problems. We will be their voice. We will highlight the issues that they face, the anger that they feel about the apathy of India's netas. And this here in Delhi that you see, really, viewer, and you will agree with me, and I'm not saying this with emotion, this really is their legacy. This is the legacy of 76 years of netagiri in India's national capital. That's 76 years, 3/4 of a century after independence. This is what the Indian national capital looks like.